Hey, beauty friends, it's Meredith Roddy from Beadalon and Artistic Wire. Welcome to another class for the Michaels Community Classroom. It is the week of jewelry making. This is my second class for the week of jewelry making. If you missed the first one, please feel free to go back and check it out on the Michaels Community Classroom YouTube page, where you will find that and tons of other amazing tutorials, all for free, which is fantastic. We thank you, Michaels, for offering the opportunity to share all of the knowledge that I have with the beading community, but also to the beading community for just being so wonderful and showing up and participating and asking great questions and being here to join in class today. So this class, if you're watching it live, thank you. Please, in those comments, be sure to ask any questions. If there's something I wasn't quite clear enough on, or there's a suggestion or a thought that you have, please go ahead and feel free to put that in the comments. I will do my very best to keep up with those comments, but if I haven't answered your question, just go ahead and throw it in there again, because sometimes the comments do go by a little bit quickly. If you're watching on the replay, thank you again also. The instructions for this class will be posted below, the link for the instructions and all of the materials that I will be using today. So once again, or perhaps I did not introduce myself at the beginning. I am Meredith Roddy from Beadalon and Artistic Wire. We are one of the vendors who supplies Michaels with some of its amazing materials, including bead stringing wire and what we are going to be using today, which is some artistic wire. So our project on Monday was about bead stringing, and we used stringing wire. We talked about crimping, all different kinds of stringing techniques. We dabbled a little bit on the wire working as well, and that's really what I'm going to be focusing on today. We're going to be doing simple loops and wrap loops to make a really very adorable and fun wire wrapped keychain. It could be a keychain, it could be a backpack charm, it could be a purse charm, it could also be a really fun pendant. And the techniques that we're going to learn today can be used for all kinds of different wire work. They're kind of the foundation, the building blocks, if you will. That's what I really like to focus on during the week of jewelry making, is the foundations. And then we build on them throughout the year with all of the different classes that myself and Sarah Lovecraft teach on behalf of Beadalon, and then of course all of the amazing instructors that Michaels has teaching for the community classroom. So with all of that said, Felicia, I think we're ready to go ahead and take that overhead camera and get right into it. So Felicia in the comments did post the instructions for class today. Thank you very much for doing that. And like I said, if you are watching on the replay, you can go ahead and click on in the box below, and there will be a link to the instructions. So you can see I have our finished piece over here. There's a lot going on, right? I also have laid out the different components. So there are, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 really different components in this piece. And that's how I have it broken down on the instructions as well. I thought that that would be an easy way to kind of figure out how we can assemble this project. So a couple things right off the bat. This is a great stash buster project. You'll see when you look at the materials list, there are a lot of different materials here, right? There are probably upwards of 10 or so different strands of beads. This is really because I went to my stash and I looked for, what do I have left over from other projects? That's what a stash buster project is, really. It's looking at your bead stash, things that you have left over from different projects that you've done in the past, and how can we use those items, right? Like, it's all great, well and great to have them collected in a box in the corner, but beads want to be used, they want to be showcased, they want to have center stage, and this is a really good way to do that. I have pre-assembled some of the parts, because really you can only watch me make wrap loops and simple loops so many times. So I left some unassembled, but then I kind of pre-made a lot of the different components that I'm going to use these jump rings here to link together. So without any further ado, I want to get started, not quite with our project, but I want to just talk about some of the materials that we're going to be using today. So I chose for the majority of our wire work today the 22 gauge silver-plated, tarnish-resistant silver wire. This is artistic wire. This is a dead soft wire. And we do have, Beadalon has in Michaels, 2 different kinds of wire. There's German style wire and artistic wire. And they look pretty similar in terms of their wire. Obviously, one is on a spool and in this kind of a yellow container, and one is in a coil. The major difference between these 2 wires is the German style wire is what we call a half hard wire. And if you look here on the back of the package, you can see the wire hardness scale. There, you can see it a little bit better. So full hard is up here, dead soft is down in the bottom. And what that means is it is an indication of its ease of bending. It's an indication of its brittleness, and it's an indication of how hard or soft the wire is. So up here in the almost toward the full hard, we have 316L stainless steel, which is, that kind of wire. It's also like a memory wire, for example, is a full hard wire. Then we come down, and about here-ish, these little dots right here, is where we get into the German style wire, the half hard wire. Down here at the bottom, the dead soft, that's where the artistic wire is. So gauge for gauge, 22 gauge to 22 gauge, that is an indication of its diameter, of how thick it is. So these 2 wires have the same thickness, the same diameter. They're going to go through the same size hole. However, when you are working with German style wire, it's going to be a little harder on your wrists, a little harder on your materials, but it's also going to be a little bit more durable, right? So without going into the next 20 minutes of class talking about the differences of wire, I will recommend there have been a couple of classes that I have taught for the Michaels Community Classroom, going over top to bottom everything that you could possibly need to know about gauges, about tempers, about uses, about everything about wire. And I definitely encourage you, if you're like, Meredith is saying some interesting things, I'd like to find out a little bit more. After class today, do a deep dive back into the Michaels Community Classroom archives to look for some of those wire working classes, and you'll find some really good information about diameter, about temper, about uses, all different things concerning wire. But today, we are going to be using 2 different gauges. We're going to be using 22 gauge, and we're actually going to be doing one component with 24 gauge artistic wire. And we're going to learn how to do a knotted head pin. I'm going to talk about why I use that particular technique for what I'm doing when we get to it. We will need, of course, all of the different pieces, parts, components. Do not feel obliged to use, unless you absolutely are like, I love the butterflies and the flower beads. Substitute anything that you have in your stash, things that you've used for other projects, things that you've set aside for a special occasion. Really anything goes with this. And I feel like the more kind of different types of shapes and textures and finishes, the better. So go wild. And when you do make this project, please go ahead and post it on your socials. Hashtag make it with Michaels, hashtag Michaels Community Classroom, and then hashtag Beadalon. And then I would love it if you hashtag me as well. My Instagram is Meredith Joy Designs. And I love it when people tag me. I love seeing what you've made from something that you've been inspired by from one of my classes. So lots of different things here. I also just wanted to point out, Michaels has a whole bunch of really fun charms. And I keep buying them, and I keep using just like one here, one there. I have these guys set aside for a special occasion yet. Really, really fun just to add a little something, something. And I feel like I might do a little bit more. I added one charm here on the end, but I feel like you could really just go wild with all of the charms. For the tools, you're of course going to need, as always, a good cutter. This is the cutter, my go-to cutter that I always use. You're going to need a couple of pliers of the bent chain, flat chain, or regular chain variety. I have 3 here. You only need 2. So whichever your 2 favorites are, we're going to be doing a lot of opening and closing of jump rings. I like to do that with a flat nose and a bent chain nose, but whatever you have will work. And of course, the star of the show today is going to be your round nose pliers. So and what the round nose pliers are used for is obviously making all of these loops that we're going to be doing today. So without further ado, I think we're ready to start getting into it and start making some loops. There are actually 3 different kinds of loops. Well, really 2 loops that we're going to be learning today. One is a simple loop and one is a wrapped loop. And before we even start on anything, I'm going to take my 22 gauge wire that I had. Here it is. Okay. I'm going to move this out of the way because as I was kind of getting ready and figuring out how I wanted to approach class today, I was thinking a couple of different things about simple loops and wrapped loops, because simple loops in particular is a little bit of a misnomer, right? It's a little bit of they're actually not so simple. I find wrapped loops to be a little easier than simple loops. But I was doing a little practicing and a little kind of thinking, well, I kind of eyeball my simple loops, and that's not really helpful if you're just getting started and you really want some good simple loops. So I thought we could start there, and I could give some little tips and tricks that I've put up, or that I have come across along the way. The first and most important thing in any wire work is to use a nylon jaw plier. And you see, I kind of absent-mindedly do this without even thinking before I do any wire work, is I use my nylon jaw pliers just to straighten it out. I'm going to snip out a length. I've got about 6 inches that I'm working with. This is way more than you need. So generally, since I learned how to do my wrap loops a very long time, I'm sorry, my simple loops a long time ago, I kind of eyeball it. So I've got my pliers and I kind of look over here and like, that looks kind of about right. I push it over with my pliers and then I kind of eyeball it here. I'm like, that looks about right also. It's kind of tough because I'm looking outside of the camera, and I come around here and I kind of open it up and I bring it around and I kind of cajole it and finagle it to make my simple loop. But like, I've been doing this for 20 years, so that's not a great way to start, right? So I was thinking, well, how did I learn? And one of the things that I did in the very beginning is I figured out a guide, right? Actually, before I get to the guide, another way to do this is to take a measuring device, right? A ruler of some sort. And I'm like, all right, I think a 1/2 of an inch, maybe 3/8 of an inch is where I want to go. So let's see, 1, 2, 3/8 of an inch, right about there. And I'm going to put my plier there. I'm going to bend it down. That all feels very awkward to me, but that might be a great way for you to do your loops. So you're like, all right, I'm going to do 3/8 of an inch. And I'm going to come in here and I'm going to make my simple loop. All right, that's not terrible, right? Not a bad way of doing it. I don't know. I'm not a humongous fan of that like down, and I don't know. I never seem to have a measuring device when I need it. So really how I have always made my wrap loops is using a guide. And so I started with this to see, is this going to be the right guide? This was too small. And then I used the back jaw of these pliers. I was like, maybe that's a good guide. Also too small. So then I grabbed my 6-step bail making pliers. And I thought, this back part of the jaw there, I don't know if you guys can see that real well. Yeah, you can. Right there, that looks like it's pretty decent for a measurer. So I'm just gonna put this gently, because I don't want to mar my wire, back in the back jaw. So it's pretty flush there. It doesn't have to be absolutely exact, but pretty exact. You can see where I fixed my lipstick right there on my finger. I'll own that. So I'm going to push that down with my thumb. So now I have a 90-degree angle that's exactly the size of that back part of my pliers. You might have a different kind of pliers. You might have to kind of experiment a little bit to see. There might be, gosh, what else could you use? I'm sure that there's something in your workspace that you can kind of work around with. And so now I can come in here with my round nose pliers and I can be like, all right, well, I'm kind of eyeballing it and kind of looking, and I'm working this around, and that is a loop that I can get behind, right? But I'm not done yet. What I'm going to do is I'm going to put that loop on my pliers, and then I'm going to grab a permanent marker. I'm going to take that permanent marker and I'm going to mark on that one jaw all the way around. I'm going to take that loop off and I'm going to mark on the other jaw all the way around. Doesn't have to be the prettiest mark that you've ever made. Now I know that, barring any unforeseen circumstances, when I use these pliers and I bend over, and now I'm ready to put my plier on the very end of that wire. And what I've been doing every time I do this is I'm holding everything at very specific angles. So this is a right angle. I'm holding it perpendicular, not parallel, but perpendicular to my workstation. And my wrist is parallel to my workstation. It's not down at an angle. It's not kind of over around. It's parallel. And I'm rotating my wrist very carefully. I'm not rotating the wire. I'm not rotating, I don't know, my body. I'm just rotating my wrist in very, very small movements on that first jaw, on the leftmost jaw. And then I'm actually putting it in the rightmost jaw. And I'm looking to make sure that that end is coming to where I want it to be. So I'm not just kind of like doing it and hoping for the best. I'm really very conscientiously making that loop happen. And after you've practiced that a couple hundred times, and I'm only kind of joking, then you'll be really, really comfortable making simple loops. And then it goes from being, not great, not super simple, to being pretty simple, right? Because I've made myself a guide. I know every time I need to put my wire in the back part of these jaws, and the back part of these jaws is, let's see, how do you use caliper, Meredith? Let's be smart here. Is about 3/8 of an inch, right? 1, 2, 3. Yep. It's about 3/8 of an inch back here. So I can either measure 3/8 of an inch here, which it's just not my jam. It might work really, really well for you, or 3/8 of an inch right here on the back part of these pliers. And I bet that without too much searching, you can find a little mandrel or a little guide, or maybe you want your loop to be a little bit bigger, or maybe even a little bit smaller. There's sometimes that you need a little teeny tiny loop. Sometimes you need a little bit of a bigger loop. Okay, so that's a very long explanation on simple loops, but hopefully the takeaway is a couple of useful tips and tricks in there. So we've done simple loops. Let's go real quick and just knock out a wrap loop real quick, because then we can get to the fun part, which is making our product. All right, so I'm going to pull off another little length here to play around with. And once again, I've got my nylon jaw pliers. And sometimes if I need a little bit more purchase, I'll hold on here with my flat nose pliers so that I can make that nice and straight. So for the loop, the wrapped loop, not the simple loop, the wrapped loop, I'm going to use that same mark as my guide because I really like that as the size of my pliers. Now, quick aside, not all round nose pliers are created equal. I'm just looking around because I don't seem to have another pair of round nose pliers at my fingertips, which is remarkable because I almost always do have several pairs of round nose pliers. Well, take my word for it. Not all round nose pliers are created equal. Sometimes the jaws are much thicker. These happen to be nice thin jaws, which is why I like them and why I like using them. So we're going to come here with about an inch or so at the, where are my inch marks? About 3/4 of an inch. And I'm going to hold it along that mark with my round nose pliers and use my thumb as a guide and bend over at about a 45-degree angle. Okay, that is not in focus. There we go. Okay, then what I'm going to do is with my index finger, I'm going to pull that wire over the top and I'm going to push it down with my thumb. So it's about at a 45-degree angle pointing down. Now, I have my wire around the top jaw, but what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to replace it into the bottom jaw. Okay. And now I'm going to switch hands. So I had everything in my right hand. I'm right-handed. If you're left-handed, everything obviously would be the opposite. But I'm going to replace my plier, or I'm going to place my plier in my left hand. And I'm going to hold it so that the wire is pointing out to the right and that the short wire is pointing away from me at about that 45-degree angle. Then I'm going to come and I'm going to grab the end of that wire and I'm going to pull it around to me. Again, 90-degree angle. Let's see how close I can get. I can't get very close at all, can I? All right, down there. There we go. And now I'm going to push and I'm going to pull. So I'm not wrapping. Sometimes you can get away with wrapping, especially if you're using like 26 or 28 gauge wire. But for 22, 20, 18, anything, thicker than a 22 gauge wire, I push it away and I use my tools. A lot of people do this with their hands. I find I get much better wrapped loops when I do it with my tools. I just pulled it toward me, pushed it away, pulled it toward me. And then sometimes you need to snip off your tail, but in this case, I actually cut it almost perfect. So I'm just going to, sometimes you get it, out of plane just like that. You just kind of have to. Again, I'm always working with the wire. I'm cajoling it. I'm moving it around and I'm tucking that tail in. We learned together a couple of classes ago that a crimp tool is a great tool to get that end tucked in, especially when it's nice up tight against a bead. The rounded part, not the dimpled part, but the rounded part of your crimp tool is a great way to tuck your tail in. And it's always important to tuck your tails in no matter how tight you're able to get your wire snipped. Always try to tuck your tail in. It's just kind of the difference between a really nice wire wrapped piece and one that's not quite so great. All right, so I think we're ready to start putting some stuff together. We did wrap loops, we did simple loops, and now we're ready to start putting stuff together for our backpack charm keychain. So what I used for the basis of my backpack charm keychain is a badge clip. Okay, these guys are available at michaels.com, and they're just a great big lobster claw clasp. I don't know, I really like these. I tend to use them for when I'm making like a lariat, or I use them a lot in kumihimo because it has a really nice big area here for attaching things to. But it's really, at the end of the day, it's just a great big lobster claw clasp. And there are lots of things out there on the market. If you can't find these, there are lots of things that are really good substitutions for this finding. And what I'm using to attach everything to this is just some simple jump rings. These are probably 6 mm jump rings. If you could use 4 mm, 5 mm, 8 mm, really any jump ring will do, depending on what you want those jump rings, how big you want them to be. And my instructions just fell on the floor, so make sure that doesn't happen. So let's start, right? Start making component one. Component one is the easiest one. It's like a layup. I gave you a super easy one to start off with because what we're using over here is one of these little pre-made stone charms. So if you're like, I don't want to make any wrapped loops, Meredith, go ahead and get some that are pre-made, right? That's the beauty of charms, is that they almost always come either with a ring already attached, or these guys are looped already. So you don't even have to worry about making your own loops. You can just use a jump ring to attach that charm. So jump ring 101. You don't want to take for granted that anybody already knows jump ring 101. 2 pliers, both flat nose. Some people will try to get away with doing this with a round nose plier. I won't allow it. Some things I will allow, and in a pinch, and I've just to make sure everybody was paying attention, I opened one with a round nose plier on my class on Monday, but not good practice, not good practice to get into. So you're going to hold your jump ring on one side with one plier. You've got your other plier. You're going to hold it on the other side, and you're going to twist. Okay. Twist that one hand toward you. And I usually hold this together, but you could twist the back one away from you too. You just want to open it side to side, not pulling it apart like this, because all that's going to do is weaken the wire. It's going to pull everything out of plane. It's not going to be a nice circle anymore. So just a twist. And I keep having to move my background out of the background just to try to get a nice focus. Then I'm going to put my little charm friend on there, pick up that clasp, and then I'm going to reverse that motion. So I'm going to kind of go back and forth until those two sides of the jump ring meet in the middle. And then you have a really nice tight close on your jump ring. All right, so now we're making component number 2. So component number 2, I have my beads already laid out on the top, and then I've already made the component on the bottom. Like I said, I've kind of have a little bit of this stuff pre-made just so that we don't have to go over and over and over again. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to attach this with 2 wrapped loops. So to do that, I'm going to grab that 22 gauge wire, and I'm using 22 gauge wire for a couple of different reasons. It's my go-to for making wrapped loops. Some people, their go-to is 20 gauge, and that's okay too. I just tend to like working with 22 gauge better. It's easier on my hands. It's easier to work with. I think it makes a daintier loop than a 22 gauge wire does. Than a 20 gauge wire does. And are those all the reasons why I like to use it? Oftentimes, generally not with the Michaels beads, because Michaels beads have really nice large holes. But sometimes your bead hole will determine what size wire you need to use for your project. But 22 gauge is that nice sweet spot between being strong enough, especially since I'm doing wrapped loops, and also easy enough to use if you're doing repetitive movements over and over again. So I have that about 3/8 of an inch, 3/4 of an inch, and I'm holding it right against my mark that I've made on my pliers. And your mark will, it'll rub off. You just put it back on with the permanent marker. So I'm going to come up and over and around the top, just like before. I'm going to go from the top to the bottom of my pliers. I'm going to switch hands. I know this is very distracting with all of this stuff in the background, but I need it to do my project. And I'm going to pull this around and then push and pull and push and pull And then here's a situation where I have a little bit of a tail, so I'm going to go ahead and snip that off. I'm going to tuck in my tail, and then I'm going to add my beads. So my pattern calls for 1 cube bead. I have a ton of these cube beads left over from a bunch of different projects. So I like to incorporate them whenever I can. Then I had gotten these really cool bead frames. This is what a bead frame looks like. And the way that you string these guys on is you go through the bottom part of the bead frame. You go through your bead. This can get a little fiddly sometimes, but just kind of have to work with it. And then up through the top. Okay, so I'm essentially making a frame for my bead. I think that they look so cool. So I wanted to do that for my project today. I want to make sure that that wire stays nice and straight. I'm gonna straighten it with I'm always reaching for my nylon job pliers. And then the top bead is another one of those squares. And like I said in the beginning, any beads that you have, maybe you have some crystal beads, maybe you have some size 6 seed beads, maybe you have some fire polished crystals. Anything goes with this project. And I don't have to think about the size of my loops because I have made that mark on my pliers. And sometimes that happens. See how I'm kind of slipping off? You just want to take your time. And if you do find that, like I'm working with a little bit of a small piece of wire on my tail here, add another inch or so. It feels wasteful, but it's not wasteful if you get a better loop and have an easier time doing it. And those little tails always seem to come in handy for something. There's always kind of something you need just a little bit of extra wire for. So now I have for my second component, I have a size 11 seed bead. Size 11 seed bead, butterfly bead, size 11 seed bead, small flower bead, size 11 seed bead. And on this one, I was doing a little bit of practice beforehand. I just made a simple loop here on the top. We're going to do that over on a couple of other ones. And then I'm going to link these two guys together. And I'm going to add it to my backpack charm. Now, do you have to do this as you go along? No, you can do all of them and then add them at the end. Totally doesn't matter. But in the spirit of staying kind of organized on my beading mat, I thought that it would be a little bit easier for me just to add it as I go along rather than have to keep everything organized and separate, because things tend to go a little awry as I have a lot going on during class. So again, I am wiggling this back and forth till those ends of my jump ring are nice and close together. And so now I have my second component made. All right, so now on to the third component. I've actually put the 3 or the 4 different components all together already. So for component number 3, the small flower, small butterfly, a different size small flower, a size 8 seed bead. And I always have on hand some silver seed beads and some of different color seed beads ready. I feel like I had another tube when I was working on this, but especially the John Bead size 8, size 6, and size 11 seed beads that they have at Michael's. Always good to have on hand just to add a little something extra to your project. So I'm going to go ahead and open up a jump ring and attach one component and the other component. And don't feel like you have to be limited by just one component to one component, right? You can add like a little charm in here also. So let's just see, we get this last component together. And let's think for a second about what might happen. When I was preparing all this morning, I was like, all right, I need to do some of it, but I shouldn't do all of it. So I think I had a good balance. All right, so super fun. So let's see, we have all of these really cute little components here. How about like be a little star, or actually, no, you know what? I really like that sun component. So I'm going to come here and I am just going to open this up right off of the card if I can. Let's see. Oops. This is why you need lots of different tools, because I need a thin chain nose pliers to get in here to get this off the card. Sure, I could have taken it off the back, but it was easier to do it this way. And I'm just going to come in here and just attach this little charm friend right with that butterfly. Let's hold our pliers the right way, Meredith, shall we? Oh, so cute. Oh, I love that so much. Inspiration struck, and I really, really like how that, and it's going to give just a little bit of extra sparkle there with a butterfly also. So very, very happy. As I am linking all of these guys together, well, let's first talk about what I did. So for the fourth component, what I did is I actually onto a head pin, and that's what we're going to do over here. Onto a head pin, I strung the large disc, one little size 8 seed bead, a small flower. Then I did wrapped loops on this small disc, then a flower here, and then on this one I did a bead cap, a bead, and a bead cap. We're going to do kind of the same type of arrangement on these next beads over here, but I'm just going to get these guys linked together really quickly. So as I'm linking this this fourth component, 1, 2, 3, fourth component, if you all have any questions, comments, concerns, discussion items, please add those in the comments. If there's something that I wasn't quite clear on, I'm always happy to go back and see. Again, for all things wire work, I definitely recommend going back and checking out some of the past classes that I've done for the week of jewelry making. We've done some really good primers on all things wire that I hope have been really good resources over the years. Oh, you know what? Forgot to attach this one. I got so excited about my little dangle-do friend that, and you can see I haven't put down my pliers once, and somehow I'm now using 2 bent chain nose pliers. So you kind of get a feel for which pliers feel really good in your hands. And that's why there are lots of different pliers out there, because one person's favorite plier is going to be different than another person's favorite plier. And per project too. There are some projects that I use different pliers for. Oh, so cute. That makes me so happy. I really, really like this project. All right, so let's go ahead and build this side over here, because one of the things that I call for is actually using a head pin. Now, sometimes head pins, this one isn't so bad, but sometimes head pins will come out of the pack a little bent. It's just because they're long and straight, and they have a tendency to get a little bent up during transit. So just like the wire, just take your nylon jaw pliers, give it a little straighten, and it should be good to go. All right, so now we are on component 5. Yes, component 5. So for component 5, actually, oh, you know what? No, we're not at the head pin yet. I'm going to jump to component number 6 because I have my head pin, and then we're going to go back to component number 5 because that's the one that we're going to do the knotted head pin for. So that's going to be really fun. So I'm going to jump over here to component number 6. And for that, what I'm going to do is I am going to just tap out a couple of these seed beads, and I'm going to add a size 11 seed bead. And the reason why I'm doing that is because if you look at this butterfly bead, there's a little bit of a V in here. There's a little bit of empty space. And there's also a pretty big hole there. So if I just used my head pin, it's going to go right through, right? It's going to just go right through because that hole is so big. That's why seed beads are always a good thing to have on hand, because then that seed bead is going to not go through, right? So it's going to take that space up, and the same thing on the top. It's going to make sure that I can get a really nice wrapped loop here at the top. And also balance it out. So I have a one on the top and one on the bottom. And then what I did is I just used, again, a couple of extra beads that I had, some of those square beads and some fire polish beads. So I'm going to add one square bead. Oops. Am I going to add one square bead? Yes. They keep sliding off. So Pam is actually asking a really fun question. She says she's new. She's just wondering, have I ever taught a class on making boho jewelry? That is a good question. Have I ever taught a class on making boho jewelry? It kind of depends, I think, on what you mean by boho jewelry. I've done a lot of classes. I've done classes on macrame. I've done classes on all different kinds of beads and beading techniques. Gosh, I think I've been doing this for 4 years now. We started during the pandemic and have just been going crazy ever since. So for the top of here, I'm going to do a simple loop rather than a wrapped loop. But while I'm doing that, Patty, can you clarify what does boho jewelry mean to you? So I'm going to bend this over at a 90-degree angle. And just like I was saying at the very beginning of class, I'm going to use that guide in my stepped bail making pliers to use that approximately 3/8 of an inch across here as my template to snip the end to make sure that I have the size loop that I want. Again, I can eyeball this usually by now, but why eyeball it if I don't have to, right? So I'm going to come here. My mark is still there, so I'm going to hold that wire right at the mark in between the pliers, and I'm going to roll my wrist around, roll it, reposition it, roll it, reposition it, and make sure it's pretty good there. Not bad at all for a live loop, right? Could I have done a wrap loop there? Sure, why not? But simple loop works also. Patty says a combination of large and small, unusual, fun components that express a unique point of view. I really like that as an explanation for boho jewelry. I'm going to have to think on that. And I challenge you, Patty, to go through the Michael's Community Classroom and look and see what projects there stand out to you. Because I'm pretty sure that between me, Sarah Lovecraft, and all of the other amazing designers that do projects for the Michael's Community Classroom, I bet you can find just what you are looking for. All right, so this is kind of the extra bonus portion of the class. We're going to make a knotted head pin. And I'm hoping that you'll be able to see what I'm talking about. It is this part right here on the bottom of this mermaid finished bead. It's a little knot. And the reason why I use this knot on the knotted head pin is because the beads that I wanted to have on this component were longer than the head pin that I had. Okay. Another reason to make a knotted head pin is because you don't have any head pins. There was a period of time that I never had any head pins. I have since found a bag of head pins that I go to all the time. But there was a period of time that I could never find a head pin when I needed it. So we're going to make our own head pins today. So to do that, we're going to use the smallest part, or the thinnest part, the tip, that's the word I'm looking for, the very tip of the thinnest round nose pliers you can find. And you're going to put the end of your wire right in the tip of the thinnest round nose pliers that you can find. And you are going to make a coil. So not a spiral, but a coil. And you want to take your time and make sure that the wire lines up right next to each other. Okay. Then you're going to hold it in that tip again and bend the wire up at a 90-degree angle. Okay, my wire is a little bit bent back, but it's really happening at the 90-degree angle. Then what I'm going to do is I'm going to hold that coil in my left hand, and with my right hand, I'm going to thread the wire back through that coil. Once again, let's try this way. Back through that coil. Okay, I'm gonna go through as much as I can. Then with that loop on the left-hand side, I'm gonna hold that wire right against the coil in my nylon jaw pliers. And I'm going to gently, but forcefully, pull the wire through so that it tightens up. And first time did not work. Look at that. I don't like how that finished off at all. I'm going to do it again. I'm just going to cut that apart and do it again. So I'm going to take a little more time and care. So I'm right here at the very, very end of my pliers. I'm going to make a nice coil. I'm going to go around twice. Okay. Then I'm going to go straight up. Change my hands. Come back through here, through that hole. And I'm going to pull this nice and tight. All right, it worked that time. I don't know why it didn't work the first time. That's not so interesting. You know, sometimes it works and sometimes it doesn't. All right, and I'm just making sure that that head pin is nice and straight now. And I have this cute little knot on the bottom that's going to hold all of my beads in place. So I'm going to come back here and I'm going to now thread on my beads. So the first one is this really fun mermaid bead. It's what I call these beads. I think that there's a different name for the finish, but I call them mermaid beads. It has this really cool chatoyancy to it. I am using 24 gauge wire, Marguerite. Thank you very much for reminding me to let you know. It's 24 gauge wire. I also like using 26 gauge wire for knotted head pins. 22 gauge wire doesn't quite work so great. It just, I don't know, it just never quite works for me. 24 gauge is my sweet spot, but I'll use 26 gauge in a pinch if I need to. So I put a little hat, a little bead cap on that bead. I just thought that it looked really cute when he was wearing a little hat. And I had some of those bead caps left over from another project that I've done for Community Classroom. But it was called something like working with bead caps and necklace cones. Oh no, I dropped it. It's okay. I have some more over here on a back. I'm gonna back up. We got it through that and through the top. I hope that I was holding that on camera, but I threaded that through. And then what else do I have on here? Oh, and then I did a different, instead of it being a hat, it's kind of a cup for this guy to sit in. I think I was getting a little silly with my design after a while. And then I'm going to hold that. And again, having that mark on my pliers is so helpful because I don't have to guess. I'm making a project. I want all my loops to be the exact same size. So I make sure that I've got everything lined up. And see how I am kind of winding this around. You can do that with 24, 26 gauge wire, but you will end up getting this little waist here at the bottom. So push and pull, you're going to waste less wire by getting it all scraggly. And you're also going to get a really nice loop, especially when you're using thicker wire. So I'm going to come in here and give this a nice tight snip. And always tuck your tails in as best you can. And then there's one more component, right? There's this little flower. So we're gonna end our, oh no, I've already made the little flower. Yay. I've already made the little flower. So once again, it's actually not one last jump ring, but we're coming down the home stretch on opening and closing our jump rings. Give it a little wiggle, wiggle. I love that I just have almost exactly, I have one extra jump ring that I brought down of this size. I'm sure I could probably scrounge up some more, but that's when you live dangerously as an instructor, when you're just like, this should be enough jump rings, sure. And then you end up with one left. That's when you know that things are going your way today. So this last component that we made, that we actually made it second to last, as our last component to add on here with a jump ring. And now I have two. If I made really, if I wore really crazy earrings, now I have two that are similar. But I did choose, and actually it's good to, oh, actually, no, you know what? I brought down the exact right amount of jump rings because I have one charm left to add. Oh my gosh, that's so funny. The evil eye charms. Did I not bring down my evil eye charms? Well, we're going to substitute. Oh, yeah, I knew I did. Here is just to show you how fun these charms are. Let's see which one is speaking to me to add. I think I like this guy right here. It brings out the turquoise really nicely. And that. And I could see. Can I just pull this off? Yes, I can just pull this off. Don't try that at home, kids. And my last jump ring. So yeah, today is my lucky day. I don't know what I should do. Play the lottery? I should do something. Ending a project on the exact right number of jump rings. Come on, that never happens. We call that in seed bead work, or actually also in knitting and crochet, we call that playing chicken with our beads, right? To see if we're gonna have just enough yarn or just enough seed beads, playing chicken with the project. So I changed the colors up a little bit. In some cases, I changed the beads up a little bit because that's what I had left over in my stash. So circling all the way back around to the very beginning when we talked about this is the Stash Buster project, anything that you have left over from other projects that you've made, from different techniques that you've tried, maybe a special set of beads that you've been holding on to for a while, just waiting for that perfect special occasion. Really fun, cute gift idea. Great for the kids for back to school. Just a lot of different techniques that you can incorporate and use in a lot of different ways. So with 1 minute to spare, Felicia, I think we are ready. Yes, to say goodbye. Thank you guys so much for hanging out with me. As we mentioned in the comments, if you have made this project or have been inspired by any of the techniques that I went over today, please post it on your socials and hashtag Michaels. Let's see, we're going to do Learn with Michaels, Michaels Community Classroom, also Beadalon, of course, that's where I'm from. And then if you want to like and follow and do all the things with me on the Insta as well, I super appreciate that. And I am at Meredith Joy Designs. So once again, thank you so much, Felicia, on your special day for hanging out with us and doing a great job moderating. Thanks for everybody for hanging out. And I'll see you on in the next Michaels class. We've got October coming up. And don't forget to check the Michaels. It's michaels.com/classes to see all of the amazing, wonderful classes that are coming up. So thanks, everybody. And until next time, happy beading.